welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Want more information, again, about those companies, all of them that sponsor the program now and previous in the season. For our Season 9, you can go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, click on the Money tab and the Season 9 tab at the top of the page. It's time for your garden questions and our garden answers. If you want to submit your question, certainly go ahead and do that by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. And you can also give us a call toll-free coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. We got a question about planting trees. Holly?
I've had a large elm tree in my front yard that has put out great shade in the afternoon over the most of the house. Unfortunately, after the last few years of fighting mistletoe, it's been struggling to produce good shade and more limbs are dying every year. I've decided to take the tree out and have the stump grinded. I'm looking to put another shade tree in its place. I've been told in the past that you plant a new tree too soon after taking out the old one. The spot can be too hot for the new tree. The old tree's root system will still be breaking down. Is there any truth to this? If so, how long should I wait? I'm located in Central California, so we have very hot summers from mid-June to early September.
Okay. So, yes, if you take a tree out and you grind the stump, or if you just take a tree out as the tree is breaking down under the ground, it's going to compost, and compost creates heat. So, if you're going to if you want to plant a new tree very quickly, you want to go 5 to 8 feet minimum from where that tree currently is. Now, we're talking about black walnut trees are different because of the jugong that is implanted in the tree roots into the soil. This is just common hardwood tree here, elm tree. Or you can wait 2 years to replant in that same spot, preferably spring before the buds come out, or later in the fall. Now, if you're in like California here, I know not all California is hot and tropical, but in tropical areas, anytime you want to plant a tree, and this kind of holds true anywhere, you can do that. You just want to make sure you take you plant it right. You dig the hole right. You remove the burlap or the binding around the root system. You want to make sure that you do not add new soil to the hole. You want to fill it back in with the native soil at the same level that it was in the pot or in the root ball, and water it regularly to make sure to soften the chances of shock and to allow the plant to seed in and take root. You want to water it properly. Again, what people do incorrectly when planting trees is they dig a hole, not big enough, and then they plant the tree, and then they backfill it with good potting soil and compost, and they just water it here and there, and then they mulch it up the trunk. By mulching it up the trunk, that's called volcanic mulching, and you're going to choke the tree out. By adding compost to the soil, you're preventing the plant, the tree roots, from reaching out and finding nutrients in the soil and locking itself into the native soil. It's not going to go anywhere. All its nutrients is right there. It's not going to expand its roots. And then you cover it up and you stake it down because you think the tree needs help staking. Now, I've been in a lot of woods, and Holly, you've done a lot of hiking, and never once have we seen a gnome or a wood creature staking trees down in the woods to make sure they don't flop over.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
In the woods. If you feel that you have to stake it down, lightly stake it, and then after about 6 months, remove tighten that string or that rope or whatever you're using. You don't need to stake it at all. The tree has to be able to begin to build up the strength in the trunk to support itself. So there you go.
That's actually what Bigfoot does. He stakes
Bigfoot, okay.
Yeah.
Which we never see because Bigfoot scurries around trail cameras and he knows that they're there. Okay. Next question before we get emails and phone calls about that.
Kohlrabi, why don't they bulb up? I'm having a very difficult time with kohlrabi. Beets seem to take forever also. I've realized shade helps the beets and radishes. Zone 5A, Wisconsin.
Okay. Kohlrabi typically takes 50 to 70 days to reach maturity. It's why it may be taking longer could be improper planting, could be the time of planting. It is a cool weather plant, and too much heat can stunt it. And inadequate sunlight or water, poor soil conditions, and pest issues can also cause the bulb to be stunted or deformed or slow to grow. Radishes take 30 days and should only be planted in the coolness of the spring or the fall, or they will bolt. Beets as well, they're a cooler plant and can be planted, and they'll take up to 80 days to grow. If they are too close, or you do not thin them out after they germinate, because they grow in cluster seeds, so each little seed you actually put in the ground has 4 to 6 plants in it, just the way nature does it. Beets have that. Swiss chard has it. Swiss chard is not damaged by that or impeded by the growth, because it's just a vertical leafy plant. Beets, if you don't thin out all but one out of that seed when it germinates, you're not going to get good beets. They're going to be short, stocky. They're not going to bulb out because they are going to be competing with each other. So you need to thin them out to get good beets. And if you have poor soil, clay soil, you're going to have, or dense soil, you're going to have a lack of root development, and you're not going to have very good beets.
There you go. I have harvested my garlic. What could I plant to use that space up? So
you got options.
You got options. So you got 11 weeks before the first average frost date.
Here in zone 5A, we're looking at about 11 weeks, about 70. Let's say 70 days.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Give or take.
So you can do bush beans. Those take about 40 to 60 days. Swiss chard is 55 to 70 days, and it's frost tolerant when it's established, when it's grown. And then you could wait a month also and do cool crops like lettuce, turnip, rutabaga. Could you do carrots or no? No.
You could. It's cool with a crop.
Yeah, you could do carrots too. So those are some options for you. I would, if I had a tomato plant just hanging around, I would plant that. But that's just me. So anyway, next one. My next door neighbor fogged their yard recently before a party, and it all drifted into my gardens. I really don't know how much about the chemicals. Do I need to do anything to my garden? So it depends on what they used.
Yeah.
A lot of times for mosquitoes, etc., they use permethrin, which it's organic. It's used for mosquitoes, ticks, typically.
If you and your neighbor are nice to one another, the question of going over and saying, "Hey, you recently did this. Can you tell me what you sprayed because it drifted in my yard?" Now, if your neighbors are
I think you should just ask them anyway.
Yeah.
Whether they're friendly or not, because you have a right to know. But I would just I would ask them. But a lot of times it is permethrin, and it's not going to cause a problem. It could kill pollinators. Yeah. That's the problem. So I would definitely ask and find out and see what it would be. Most of the time when they spray for bugs, it's not going to be something like 2,4-D. It's going to be something
they're wanting to clear the area for their guests.
Yeah, exactly.
Mosquitoes most likely. So, what is wrong with my carrots? They are short, stubby, and about 1 inch long.
So it's either that you harvested them too soon, which this is my friend who was asking, and she did admit she harvested them too soon, and she's just very excited because it's her first garden, and she's not patient all the time, and she's got 3 younger kids, so they were excited. So that was the case there. Carrots take 70 to 80 days to reach maturity. She pulled them at about 55 days. The other issue a lot of times is if your soil is too dense, it's too clay-like. The carrots need nice, loose, loamy soil to grow and develop. So if your soil is not nice and loose and not compacted, that can cause the problem.
All righty. My potatoes are covered with scab, and a few of them have splits in them. Nothing cutting into them. They're just opened up and scabbed over. No issues with contaminants. Any idea what has caused this? I have scab, or I can scrub them and peel them, but I normally prefer skin on. Okay. The scab is a disease that's in your soil. It can live in your soil for a while. So if you're planting potatoes in bed A. Avoid planting potatoes in bed A for 3 years. That's really going to be your safe number. And plant them in a different bed next year, or feet and feet away from that bed if you don't have like raised beds, just general area of garden. It is still edible. It is recommended to peel them. So your scab is, you have a scab, your scab is being removed. Do not eat that scab area for that.
My pumpkins are flowering. I don't see any fruit forming yet. Would it be helpful if I pollinated them myself or help them along?
You can self-pollinate them. If you've got female flower, you got the male flowers and the female flowers on the plant. And the female flowers will have the baby pumpkins from the stem and the flower. So you can take a paintbrush or a Q-tip and take the pollen from the male flower and into the female flower if you do not feel you have enough pollinators in the area.
If it's the first flowering, it's not going to hurt to tap the flowers either if you're not sure. So you could just go around and tap from flower to flower and do that for a while, and it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to cause a problem. So, yeah, so that's a good